What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, I've done videos before in the past where I decided to recreate or redesign new alternate AFL Guernseys for each of the AFL clubs. I've done it before for home Guernseys and I've also done it before for away Guernseys, and I thought, well, I enjoy them. They're actually quite fun to make, just to chip around on Photoshop to see what designs I come up with. And I know you guys do seem to enjoy them since the videos have done well. So in this video, I've decided to redesign some more AFL Guernseys, and I've decided to design an alternate strip for each of the AFL clubs. Now, before we do get into it, if you guys may or may not know, the two lights I usually use for my videos have broken, so I won't be having my proper lights for a few days, so that's why the lighting's a little bit different. I'm filming this in the day. Usually I film my videos at night. But anyways, let's get into it. And we'll start off with the Adelaide Crows. Now for Adelaide, I've gone for something a little bit different. The dominant colour in the Guernsey is gold. I added a blue and red stripe through the middle, and I've gone on Google, I searched up Adelaide Crow, and I found this cool design of an Adelaide Crow. I've chucked it on the Guernsey, and then I don't know if this is fitting to it or makes it worse, but I've added the text Crows that they used back before 2010 for their logo back then. But yeah, I think this is sort of cool. And next up we have the Brisbane Lions. Now for the Brisbane Lions, I've gone for something a little bit different, although it's a little bit stock standard in the fact that it's similar to what they've done before, but I don't think they've done it in this color scheme. I've added the maroon line on top of a gold background, and the top yoke is in blue. I've decided to add a gradient for the blue to gold. I think that looks actually pretty cool, pretty nice, pretty slick. I actually do see him maybe wearing this as a clash or an alternate strip, definitely not a home Guernsey or anything like that. Now next up we've got a bit of a controversial one. This one is Carlton. Now Carlton, they don't usually do a lot with their home Guernseys or away Guernseys. They don't do much with it. It's quite a plain Guernsey. You just got the emblem and the blue background. That's literally all there is. So I had a bit of a play around with this one. I went through all these filters, designs, and I've decided to make a different style of the Carlton Guernsey. This will most likely be an away Guernsey with the white collars. You got the massive C that's taking up over half of the Guernsey, which is maybe a bit controversial. We've got the navy blue fading into a bit of a white design. I think this is definitely a different concept, something that I don't think they'll ever implement, but I think it looks alright, or you could almost argue that it's cooler than their normal design. Now next up we have Collingwood, and I've decided to design you could call it a home or an away alternate strip. It could work either way. I've got the white stripes fading to the tops and the bottom, which are black, which I actually think looks quite nice. It's pretty slick, it's pretty clean, this Guernsey. There's not too much going on here, which I guess suits Collingwood well, because they never really tend to make any unique Guernseys, the Pies. They usually stick to the basics, and I think this works well for the Pies, and I don't mind it. We move on to the next Guernsey, and we've got the Essendon one, and this is a very different to what usually Essendon comes out with. I've ignored the sash. I've decided to use something a bit different. I saw this pretty cool red design, and I thought, why not use it? It might actually look good in an Essendon Guernsey, and it actually looks not bad. I'm not even joking. This could be a decent alternate Guernsey, but I think it's quite cool. It's quite modern, and it's something different. And we move on to the next Guernsey. We've got the Fremantle one. Now I know in the last two videos my Freo ones haven't been quite impressive, so I've gone for something a little bit more basic, but something that I'm sure you guys probably like a bit more. I've implemented the chevrons that they use now, and the tricolours, which are the green and the red, which the Dockers used from 1997 to I think 2010, and before they, for whatever reason, changed it. And I think this looks quite cool. The green and red fades into the purple. It's quite slick. I think this is definitely a Guernsey that maybe they could implement the Dockers as their home one. Next up we have the Geelong Guernsey. Now this is slightly controversial. It's one of the more different ones across all the teams. You've got you've got a lot going on actually. You've got the blue at the top fading into the white, and then you've got the cat's face, which is smack bang in the middle of the Guernsey. And fading out, I've got a layout of GMHBA Stadium, which I've faded out into the blue. I don't know if there's too much going on in this Guernsey, but it's something different, and I don't think it's too bad. Now next up we've got the Gold Coast Guernsey design, and I think this one is another one that I don't mind. I've got the gold as primary colour, and I've got the top of the Guernsey in blue, and I've added a white arch separating the gold and the blue, which is a very nice touch to the Guernsey. I think it makes it look a lot cleaner. And something else which I've decided to add is a bit of a sun gradient behind the Gold Coast logo, and it makes it signify that it's the Gold Coast Suns even more, which I think looks quite cool. It's actually not a bad inception, and this will definitely be used as either their away or their alternate clash Guernsey. Now the next Guernsey, obviously we've got the GWS Guernsey. Now this is, you could argue it's a controversial one. It's quite different, and if I'm going to be honest with you, probably not as good to the ones I've made previous, because it is quite simple and it sort of reminds me of their current home Guernsey, which not many people are a big fan of. I've shrunk the G quite significantly into the middle of the Guernsey. I've got the charcoal, I've got a strip of charcoal in the middle, and then the rest of the Guernsey's orange. It is quite basic and plain, but I don't think it's too bad. It's definitely not the worst out here, but it's, you know, nothing special in my opinion. And the next Guernsey we have is Hawthorn. Now Hawthorn, I've gone for something a little bit different. I've decided to bring back the white away strip that Hawthorn, I don't think they use anymore at all. And I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I've gone for the gold stripes. Gold on white, is that a bit of a, I don't know, is that controversial or not? I don't mind it, I think it looks alright. And then I've added a brown V over the top of the stripes, which adds a nice touch to it. It's not too much going on in it. You could argue that there's a bit going on in this Guernsey, but I think for the most part it's quite well balanced, and it works well. I think it's not a bad Guernsey at all, and I could definitely see him maybe using this for some time in the future. Now next up we've got arguably one of the cooler designs that I've created. We've got Melbourne. Now this would of course have to be their away strip. Now I've decided to use one of their old designs that they used in their away Guernsey back in the early 2010s with the Angry Demon. I think it looks so cool, honestly. I've decided to add that. A little bit similar to the 2010 away Guernsey, but however there are a few differences, and I've added a bit of a shadow on top of the Demon. Overall, I don't mind it, and if they, you know, came out with this Guernsey as an alternate strip or something, I think a lot of D's fans would, yeah, think it's quite cool. Now, speaking of quite cool, this is definitely something a little bit different for North Melbourne. I've gone on Google, I searched up kangaroo to see if there were any kangaroo designs I could add to this Guernsey, rather than just the stock standard Guernsey designs that the Roos have had previously, and I found this one. I've decided to, you know, change the colours up so they suit North Melbourne a little bit more, and I've decided to add it to the Guernsey. I don't think this is the sort of thing North would use full time though, but maybe 1 or 2 games North could maybe use it, or maybe it's a pre-season Guernsey. This is a sort of Guernsey that clubs use in the pre-season games. But yeah, I actually think it works quite well. It's a really cool design in my opinion, and yeah, that's North. And the next team obviously is Port Adelaide, and last time I did this for the away Guernseys, I would argue that it was one of the better ones, and I've got to probably say that this is one of the better ones as well. We've got Port Adelaide's Guernsey, which is very similar to their old logo, which I do prefer than their current one. I've implemented the hand holding the bolt of electricity, and then in the bottom half of the Guernsey, I've got the prison bars going down. You know, Port, they love the prison bars, and the top part of the Guernsey, I've just have it all in teal with it fading into white at the bottom. So yeah, I actually think this is quite a slick design, and it's yeah, one of my favorite ones, I'm not gonna lie. Now next up we have Richmond's Guernsey, which would have to be an alternate home Guernsey design. I searched up tiger pattern, and I've blended the tiger pattern onto a normal Richmond sash. So it's a little bit similar to their normal Guernsey, but there are distinct changes because I've added the tiger imprint on top of their sash. And it's something different. Do I like it more? Comments if you like this more than a home Guernsey. We move on to the next team, obviously St Kilda. Now, you know, as a Saints fan, it's a little bit hard to think of ideas for your own club. So I've been inspired by a few of their previous away Guernseys, particularly the 2006 one. I've gone for the very, very thin stripes here, but I don't think the Saints have had thinner. With the collars and the cuffs being white, and the bottom being white as well. And I think it actually doesn't look too bad. Probably not my favorite one in the list. Maybe the stripes are a bit too thin. All in all, pretty decent Guernsey, and yeah, I wouldn't be too disappointed if the Saints rolled out in this for 2022. Now we move on to Sydney. Now I've used the old Swan in this. I know the Swans have had a new logo redesign and all that, and they never really do this in real life, but I've gone for the new Swan because it fits better for this particular style. This would have to be the away Guernsey because the collars and the cuffs are white, but it's pretty much a normal away Guernsey. But instead of having the Opera House in which they usually do, the Opera House is replaced with a Swan, which in all honesty probably suits the Swans a lot more because they're not the Sydney Opera Houses, they're the Sydney Swans. Now next up we have West Coast Eagles. Now this, it's a little bit similar to one of their older designs they had back in 2012, 2013, where the Eagles went for the white Guernsey, where nowadays they don't go for the white. So this would have to be a third alternate clash. So they have to have their home, they have to have their away, and an alternate clash Guernsey, which would be in white in which this would be a perfect replacement. Obviously, I've got the West Coast Eagle. You just can't have a West Coast Guernsey without the Eagle. And yeah, the collars and the cuffs of the Guernsey, we've got the blue and the gold coming out from either side of the Guernsey. I don't think it's too bad at all. I actually think it's one of the better ones, if I'm going to be completely honest. It's quite clean, and the colors, they suit well together. I think it's quite nice. And the last Guernsey, of course, we have on the list is the Western Bulldogs Guernsey. Now, this one is, yeah, definitely different to what they usually have. I've got the red and white sashes, but I've got 2 red and 2 white. I've got the hoops, the red and white hoops. However, I've got 2 for each color, and I've got them coming diagonally. I've decided to blend the current Western Bulldogs home logo head on top of the stripes, like they used to back, I think, before 2015 with their old Bulldogs logo, which I think looks actually quite cool. I had the idea and I thought maybe this wasn't going to work, but it definitely worked a bit better than what I thought. It actually looks alright. And obviously this would have to be a replacement for their home Guernsey, which if they did replace it, I actually think it looked almost better than their current home Guernsey. But there we go. Those were the 18 designs for the new Guernseys. Yeah, obviously I don't mind doing these videos, so if this does really well, I might potentially in the future do another one if I have enough ideas, which I'm sure they'll come to me one day or another. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm going to try and get a lot more content out this week. I feel like I've been a bit slacking over the past few days without anything on the weekend. The fact that my lights didn't come isn't a great thing. I'm going to be trying to get a box break out throughout the week. Weekly vlogs are returning. Going to get the coach career back up starting, and a couple of other bits of content out throughout the week. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next one.